Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we are gonna be making a drawing. I'm gonna be doing this drawing of a girl with like this big hat, this big cat hat costume, similar to like the shape and size of like the Chinese lion dances that happened at like Chinese New Year. And I'm really excited. Today is going to be like a chill drawing session. I think it will be good to explore some different things through the drawing process and see how we go and see if I can create the vision that I want. I actually had like a few days off in a row from work, which is the first time it's happened for a while, so I was very excited, but actually I was sick the whole time, so basically I was just recovering, but I'm well enough that I can talk on a video today and actually have energy to do more than just trying to channel all my energy to tell my immune system to hurry up and get better quickly so I can continue on with life. But now we have energy, so all is well again. I'm not like 100% good yet, but I'm pretty close and I'm grateful for that. So anyway, today we're gonna make some art and hopefully this is a chill one you can put on in the background, or I don't know, whatever you want to do. I got a nice comment on my last video and it just was very sweet to get a comment, but thank you for anyone who watches and for supporting my tiny little corner of the internet while I explore my art and craft and see what we can create. Hello, welcome back to another voiceover. So I remember when I was making this piece, I had like a loose vision for what I wanted in my head, and I knew like the atmosphere that I wanted to create. And I love all things when it's like kids like running around in big costumes, like very inspired by like where the wild things are and like all these like dystopian worlds where like the kids kind of just run free and everything is like, the piece in the end is not very colorful, but it still has like that childlike playfulness and wonder somewhat, I hope. For this piece, I remember I had a really rough composition sketch that I did in my notebook, and then I brought that into the iPad to flesh it out more. I remember I started with like these really simple like dot eyes, but then I liked that I just fleshed out the eyes a bit more. And here it was so cute, I was adding the teeth of the wolf hat and these silly eyes, and I wanted to make the hat like comically big because I don't know, I love like how I feel like it's just like when you're a kid and then everything fits like a bit too big or a bit funny, or like if you're wearing like your older siblings' clothes or something and it just doesn't fit quite right, but when you're a kid you just want to like try things on and have fun and like explore different parts of yourself and like play around and like different parts of your identity. So I just love how like oddly shaped and awkward and ill-fitting the hat is, and that's kind of what I wanted from the piece. And this piece, at first I was gonna call it Big Hat Quiet Soul, but then I showed my mum and she was like, oh, why don't you call it Loud Hat Quiet Soul? I was like, ooh, that's good. And yeah, I wanted it to be like the girl, she's quite serene and not showing very much emotion or any expression in the piece, but the hat is kind of doing all the talking. It takes all of the visual attention and is very loud and in your face, but it might not like represent like the girl, like maybe she's just a quiet kid. And here I was adding these strappy bits. I love adding like different kind of features of the clothes like this, like especially in like sci-fi and like dystopian worlds where like the clothes are just a bit like more layered and more textured and have a bit more character to them than like just like normal everyday clothes. Oh yeah, here I was doing my very simple simple hands. I love drawing these big round hands. I feel like, I don't know why, it's definitely easier to draw anatomically than normal hands. But yeah, also, and here the direction of the trees, like some of it was very like not true to nature. That was the first thing I had in my mind for the composition, was these trees that kind of shaped together like puzzle pieces, like going up and down and fitting in between the gaps. And I'm not actually sure what kind of tree this would be. Like weeping willows are really beautiful, so I do love that draping, like the heavy draping, like of the trees and the leaves. And then I was also thinking of just like how trees are portrayed in like children illustration books, and like a very simplified, sweet version of them. And that's kind of what I was going for with the nature and the trees here, and just focusing on like the composition, how they fit amongst each other, and also how they're like framing the character. It would actually be pretty cool one day if I could do like a children's storybook illustrated in this style. I feel like there's like this similar type of world that I've wanted to explore in a character design or like a world building project, but I have not gotten around to it. But this is like the first piece of work that I would say that kind of explores like that kind of world, and I would call it a success. Like that is what I was going for. So I think this could be something cool to explore in the future, and it could be interesting, or even like a zine or some kind of graphic novel, like a small one maybe to start off, because I've never done a full graphic novel or anything like that. And here I remember I wasn't sure how I wanted to like build the atmosphere in the back, because I didn't know if I wanted it to be like daytime, nighttime. It was just looking very bright, and I didn't really know how to add the atmosphere but still keep it like very simple. And in the end, it's kind of just was that like scratchy grey background. And here adding the shadows is always so satisfying. This was for the piece, I wanted that to be a big feature. Basically it's just like black, white, and then I knew I would do the halftone texture for everything. And then so for the shadows, I wanted them to be very, very stark, and I made them quite thick and like quite bold, because that was like one of the main features for the piece, just like the composition, and then like the stark shadows which like cement the character into the world. That's why I feel like when you add the shadows, it makes the image like just make more sense, because things are interacting with each other in the piece, like the lighting and the clothes and the skin, and everything is being like grounded and cemented in reality in a way that only like the lighting or the shadows could give. And while I do need to practice anatomy, I really enjoyed working on a piece where the character was just like very simple anatomy, and focusing kind of on the composition and this kind of like illustrative piece. So I think I'm gonna explore more of this while also practicing anatomy, getting my anatomy marks up. While I was drawing this one, it was reminding me of like all these like all the characters from children's storybooks I read when I was a kid, like Dr. Seuss, and I can't even think of the name of most of them. Oh my god, I just like can visualize the characters. But I feel like those are some of the most memorable designs, when they're just so like simple but have a lot of character. In the future, I feel like it will be so cool to explore some short stories. I'm not sure how difficult it is to get like a book publishing agent and all these things, but if at the very least I could make like an independently produced scene and sell it on like an online store. So we'll see how it goes. Also, it would be so awesome. I want to try getting into like risograph printing or riso printing, like where I'm not exactly sure how like the printing process works, but I own some riso prints from some artists that I really like, and the colors are so satisfying. I feel like even with, I'm not sure how it works with like if I wanted to try printing it with halftones, but I feel like it would look even sick with like black, white, grey halftones like this piece. I don't know, I really want to get more into like maybe doing some kind of printing workshops so I can learn about how like risograph printing works and everything. Yeah, I definitely want to do more like tangible traditional art or even digital art, but then into like the risograph printing, so I can like feel that like it was brought to life in like the 3D material world as well, because I feel like there is such like a flat look when you just print like something that was digitally made, which is okay sometimes, but I don't know, just I've been looking at like the art prints in my room, and the risograph print ones really have like another layer of life to them, like where the other normal ones that have been printed from digital art just have like this like very flat like one-dimensional look, like no matter how complex the piece is, just because of like how it was actually made, which makes sense, you know, like the more effort, the more work and love that went into the process, and the more steps like it will show in the final result. So yeah, definitely so many things I want to explore, but I feel like I don't have any time, any energy to do all of these things I want to do. So I don't know, I feel like, yeah, to be honest, like lately I've been so frustrated like that I don't have enough energy to do the things I want. Like, oh, I want to explore so many more things in my art, and I want to practice and like work on my anatomy and all these things, but no point of complaining. Well, obviously I do like to complain, but I just need to be more disciplined with like when I do have time to try and make the art that I want to make. But sometimes I just feel frustrated, like I don't have the energy to really delve into the things I want for like, you know, a long period of time, or for like a day or 2 days. But it's okay, we take what we can get and we make the most out of it. I have this art print in my room that says, "What's inside me and how do I make the best of it in the time I have left?" And I love, it's just like a little guy looking at himself, and I love that one. That one is the most like, it's not being positive, it's not being negative, it's just like so real, like literally how do we make the best of whatever of the situation. Anyway, I like to look at that little guy and feel grounded again, that like just make the most of it, and trying to have an eventful year, a productive year, trying to make the things I want to make. And I have been quite satisfied that I've been producing more art, especially since I started making this YouTube channel. Still not at the rate and not creating exactly like what I want to be making. I mean, I am making what I want to make like from the heart, and I'm quite satisfied that I'm getting closer, but obviously I still have a lot more of work to put in before like my taste and my vision can be shown in the physical skills that I need to accumulate in order to create that. But also very aware that, you know, this is all part of the journey, and it's not just about the destination, because even like when I go on Instagram or anyone's folio or anything and I see like artists that I really love, it's always like so much more valuable to me when I scroll down to the bottom and see like their old art, like how they got to where they are. And normally it's a place that's not so great, which is like, obviously most of us are not like child prodigies where you like come out the womb like crazy talented or anything. Like most of it is just skill and your creative vision and your imagination and your taste and the things you want to make, which is good news, because you just have to put the work in, which is effort, but still good news nonetheless. But yeah, so I'm excited. I feel a little bit more positive this year about my art trajectory, and I think my next thing I want to work on will be, it has to be something bigger than like an illustration piece, like my next real project, because it's already April and I thought I would have done so much more of my personal projects that I want to do, like these world building character design projects that are more than just one-off pieces. I think it's just been feeling like a lot more accessible to me to, when I'm tired like after work, to come home and think of like creating one piece of like illustration. Like that is much more comprehensible for my brain than like to work like the projects. When I think of like character design or world building projects, or like concept art where like I'm gonna build the whole world around it. I feel like it's just not enough, like a 4-hour block before bed to like delve into it. But probably I need to like use my time more wisely and stop being so idealistic and trying to wait for like the perfect conditions before you do something, because probably the amount of things that you can actually do if you stop waiting for the ideal conditions versus like waiting till you think like this is gonna set me up to have the best chance. Like normally it's better and more valuable to actually just start the thing and learn as you go. I feel like normally that's everyone's advice, and that's normally like what you'll find beginning or doing anything is just like start doing it, and like they say the path will appear in front of you as you go. Oh, and I remember here I was doing the gradient because I knew the image was feeling quite flat and quite like sharp and bold, just because there's only like a few shades going on and no color or anything. And the gradient really like, it gave it almost like a paper cutout feel, because like it just separated the layers into these very flat like shapes that, but with some shadow, like grounded somewhat in reality. I feel like it was like a paper cutout character and world, like when we used to make dioramas in primary school, like made out of cardboard and stuff with different layers. And I think the piece definitely needed a bit of the softness or like the nuance, just like something to give more than just like black, white and the grey. So that was very satisfying. Here I was trying to do the shadow, but then it actually looked better without it. It was too much. It wasn't looking good. And here, at first I was coloring everything in super slowly, and then I got super impatient because it was taking like 100 years to color everything, so it was a bit quicker to just select each of the shapes and be able to fill it in that way. But even then, sometimes, you know, when you do it on Procreate and then you're trying to select the shape and then you accidentally close the shape and is like not the correct thing. Anyway, I was frustrating myself with that, but that's on me. Yeah, I was trying to work out like which color, which type of values. Like at first I did the grey, but then because everything was very grey, everything was kind of blending into one another, so I had to use some of like the darker tones to create contrast, and then I kind of softened it out a bit with the gradients of like the dark and light gradients. And it was kind of confusing to try and work out like the visual hierarchy of the bright and the things in the foreground and the background. But I think in the end it's quite interesting. It's maybe not the most correct lighting and everything, but I mean, nothing about the piece is really very realistic. It's all just a random image, that a very loose image that I had in my head that I wanted to create. And in the end, I really like this piece. So I think there might be more characters from this universe coming soon if I develop it further, because I kind of did have this world building series I wanted to do of these like dystopian woodland kids. So maybe in the future it could be like in this kind of style, because I really enjoyed like making this one and looking at this one after I was finished. Like, even if it was something I didn't make, this is just something that I would be drawn to, and this is more of the style that I want to explore in my art. And here's the finished piece. I think, yeah, the halftone really added a lot, and it normally for something where it like feels so naturey, the halftone could make it kind of like, because it looks like more of that like a cartoon look, like less soft, I feel like. But no, I really like it, and I'm really happy with the piece, and I think it was the perfect amount of like texture and elements in the piece without being too complicated or intricate or simple, so I'm really happy. This is the finished piece titled Loud Hat, Quiet Soul. Hello. So I'm editing the video and I realized I never recorded an outro, so thank you so much for joining me for another video. I really like this piece and I feel like it really resonates with the kind of art that I want to explore and make more, and it's a step in that direction and I'm really satisfied with that. So thank you for joining me for another video. Take care of yourselves and good night.